Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Canas podcast. The quarter century mark.
Mm-hmm.
The quarter century.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
On this episode today, so we were going to have a midweek episode of just talking about the Oilers. We're going to talk about that in the NHL portion of the Canas podcast. The regular episode. For whatever reason, our All About Footy episode 6 didn't air this last week. So, not entirely sure how that happened. All I know is that we don't have to do a midweek episode this week. So
short week for us.
yeah, it's so weird. It works because I'm not even sure I know what I'm saying right now. So I'm so tired. So,
It's all good.
Yeah.
Long week today.
Yeah.
Or this week, I guess.
So for this week, we will talk about. We have to talk about golf. The Masters is on right now.
Yep.
Then, baseball. Baseball season started too. Unreal start for the Jays. We're gonna, spoiler alert, but unless you've been living under a rock, you should know what happened the last day.
I didn't see it, but I read and friends were talking about it, so
Yeah, so what happened. Yeah. Basketball, the playoff picture is really now completely set, pretty much.
Yep.
Including seeding, if I'm not mistaken. NHL to finish. And soccer. We'll talk a little bit about soccer. Yeah, so maybe I'll start with soccer. The Canadian Women's National Team Celebration Tour continued this week, or last week, my apologies. And Stephanie LeBay has played her official last game for the Canadian Women's National Team. The Minister of Defense has resigned.
Unfortunately.
She, unreal, first off. But that has to be one of the deepest positions Canada has had in a very long time.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Karina LeBlanc, Erin McLeod, Stephanie LeBay, and now Kaylin Sheridan. Those are world class, man. And Sheridan had a monstrosity of a save against Nigeria as well in that game. Unreal save. So, yeah, it sucks that LeBay is not going to play for Canada anymore. However, I also kind of wish that she would have played in Alberta her final game.
That would have been nice.
Out in BC.
Yeah.
But on Sinclair was so close to scoring, man. I would have been she has one more game in BC. That'd be really cool to see her score in BC in front of a sellout crowd there. I think the next game is Monday, when the episode airs. Monday or Tuesday, I think. So I'm hoping that she does score. But anyways, it'd be really cool to see. That's all I'm going to say. I'd love to see Christine Sinclair score and further extend her record goal-scoring streak, I guess, of the most goals ever by any man or woman in professional football. International professional football. My apologies. Yeah.
I was going to say she's probably not going to pass Messi and Ronaldo if it's not international only.
Yeah. No, there's no way. No. That's big. That's a lot of goals that she would have to score.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Not even then, I don't think she's actually really close to it from a Portland Thorns perspective. I think it's just there's more games in the men's game than there is in the women's too, and they just had more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But how incredible is it to say the greatest goal scorer in the women's game? Sorry, the greatest international goal scorer of all time. Not even just man or woman. So the greatest international goal scorer of all time is Canadian, and it's Christine Sinclair. That's incredible. Hey?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just by that alone, she has to go down as one of the greatest female players of all time. So very awesome to see that. To just say that of a Canadian. So it's so cool, man. Masters this week. By far the biggest storyline was Tiger Woods coming back. By far. After the weekend, I think it's died down a little bit. He's 7 over heading into the final round. Unbelievable still the fact that he came back and is healthy. But I think a storyline that is hidden behind it all is just how well Corey Connors is playing still. Corey Connors, barring anything major and obviously knocking on wood, will likely finish again in the top 10 of yet another major.
Major, yeah.
Yeah. This week has been unreal, man. Nobody's catching up to Scotty Scheffler. I just don't know how he's doing. Scotty Scheffler at 10 under, Cameron Siff 6 under heading into the final round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, and I think our boy is at -2. So, like, it's going to be very
He's at
difficult.
-1.
Oh, so he got a bogey in his last hole. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, he's 9 shots back of the lead. That's unbelievably difficult to do. But the fact that he's close, like, he's close.
Yeah.
So
Still
it's
pretty
nice.
sick.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not taking anything away from him there. It's just, yeah, I don't think he's got a real chance at winning. But I do think, like, top 5 is realistic.
Yeah, right now he's tied for 6, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, top 5 should be a realistic thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the President's Cup is not too far away, and he'll definitely be competing in that because he is one of the better international players. I guess you can call him Team World. He's one of the best players for Team World, you know? That U.S. team would be so tough to beat, though. I'm excited to talk about the President's Cup, though, because that'll be interesting, because we'll definitely have at least one. We might have two. Like, outside chance, too. Mackenzie Hughes might make it. But definitely Corey Connors will be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is nice because we've talked about his game. Like, he's just a very overall good game. You know what I mean? Like, there's not one thing in his game that's horrific, like biggest weakness. But there's also not one part of his game that's like a monstrosity of like
a strength.
Yeah, thank you, strength. Basketball.
You did miss one thing for soccer.
Oh,
I
what?
just let you talk about golf because
Oh,
you're
sorry.
on a roll.
Yeah.
Alfonso Davies played.
Oh my God, how do I forget that? Right? Jeez, that was incredible. And did you see his incredible defensive, his defensive stop there?
No, I did not.
Oh, dude, it was nuts. Like, it was vintage Davies, man. Like, he comes back, he was like 20 yards behind the guy, catches up to him just in time to like block the shot of an inevitable goal. Yeah, unreal. And he won actually CONCACAF Player of the Year for 2021.
He did, yeah.
That's another thing.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. The fact that he's back, healthy. Honestly, I mostly care the fact that he's healthy again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We didn't want him to rush to keep playing again.
No, I'm so grateful that the men around him were able to, unite and do well without him. That was huge for sure.
Definitely.
And yeah, I mean, Davies being back, that's huge, man. That's huge. Canada is in the Nations League this summer. We'll be playing at home to Curacao and then away to Honduras for the first two rounds, or for the first two legs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Honduras will be a tough away match, but it's a big physical. They're two physical teams. I mean, Canada should easily and handedly win this group. It's just, how are they going to do it? That's all, This international window during the summer, they might play one friendly, and I hope they do play one friendly against a European team. They need to play some international friendlies against some European teams.
At least a team that's similar to Belgium or Croatia would be nice.
My dream
playing style. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, my dream would be to play against Italy. I think Italy is actually a better team than both Belgium and Croatia. Mm-hmm. They just were unfortunately not, I don't know how the heck they didn't qualify, I'll be honest with you. But if you play against Italy, Italy has very strong mid and D, very similar to what Croatia would have. Actually, Italy's better than Croatia in my opinion. And Belgium, however, has like a very strong striker and mid options. England would be a beautiful opposition to compare us against Belgium, for example. So my dream matchups would be England
and Italy.
Thank you. Yes, Italy. I'd love, but like they're two of the top 10 teams in the world. It's gonna be very difficult to get them both. But listen, man, Herdman can say we play against Uganda, and I trust him some for whatever he says. We still need it. We need to play an African nation. I mean, Egypt is probably the best choice because Morocco has Hakimi, who's a very, very good left back. Right back, left back. I don't remember what he does, but one of the best in his position. Egypt is similar in that sense. So
yeah, as long as we just play strong opposition just to prepare us for the World Cup, then it doesn't really matter.
It'll be huge. I really want a European opponent though. At least one, because we haven't played in 3 or 4 years against a European opponent.
And they're totally different than
Night and day.
It's
not even close.
or
Yeah,
even South
not
America.
even close.
Yeah.
Really isn't. Like, no, with all due respect to CONCACAF, there's only 2 other teams in CONCACAF, maybe 3, that are like, worthy of playing in the World Cup this year. That number is gonna maybe go a little bit up once the 2026 World Cup comes around, and they're gonna expand it by 12 teams. Don't know how they're gonna do that with still having the quality of football high. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
That'll be interesting.
Is it so? It's 32. It's going to 48 actually. So they're expanding it by 16, not just 12. I don't know. I can't math today, man. I'm really tired.
It's okay.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you for remembering that. That's really important to make sure we did that right. So,
especially since it only happened like a couple days ago.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. 100%. No, you're absolutely right. Good call. Really quick on basketball. I mean, the Raptors have clinched a top 6 seed in the East. That's huge. No play-in tournament for them. Fantastic. They just played. What is it? They ended up beating the 76ers, I think. So they're like 2 games back, but with like 3 games left. So they're pretty much set in the 5th seed, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And they'll probably be playing against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round. I think it's a winnable round. I think James Harden doesn't actually make that team better. I think it makes them worse. The fact that they gave up all that in the Brooklyn Nets trade, I do honestly think it makes them worse.
Yeah, yesterday they beat the Rockets by 2. 117.
Yeah, and they were down by 20-some points at one point.
So
yeah, that was a big comeback for them. So, I mean, losing to the Rockets would have been an embarrassment. Well, let's not even kid ourselves, dude. That's a bad team down there. It's a bad team. That's a tanking team. But anyways, yeah, I mean, that's all we really need to talk about. At this point next week, I believe we'll be talking about playoffs. So we'll see how they're doing in the first round matchup. I envision it. Raptors probably losing the second round. I see them winning the first round against Philly. I see them losing the second round against one of the Heat or Bucks. They're just way too good of teams. They each have like 2 superstars on each of those teams. One for sure, and Butler and Giannis. Mm-hmm. Giannis. I don't remember what. Like, Giannis. Yeah.
Antetokounmpo.
So people call him Giannis and people call him Giannis. Like, I honestly don't know the proper pronunciation of his name. All I know is that he's an unbelievable basketball player.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But anything can happen in the playoffs, so you never know.
Yeah,
we might get lucky and steal some games.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
I mean, okay, so I'll be interested to see how many Canadians get drafted this year. I envision like 3. There's some good college players in basketball and Canadian college players. So we'll see. I'm actually probably I want to go to the Edmonton Stingers game when they're back over here. So we'll probably do like a midweek episode on just the Stingers or something. That'd be really cool. Okay, yeah. And then apart from that, like, there's not much else news in basketball right now. I want to talk about tennis really quick. All we need to talk about is how Canadians lost in their first rounds again. They're not doing well. That's it. That's all we're going to say. Yeah, there's not much to watch about tennis right now. They're just not doing well. They're in a slump. Hopefully they can get out of it before French Open comes.
Yep.
It's a Wimbledon first. I always forget. I think it's French Open first and then Wimbledon. Look it up, please.
I'll try.
Yeah. What other sport are we going to talk about? Baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays with Canadian closer Romero. Romero. Good Lord, Victor. Jordan
like
Romano.
You said, you're tired, so
exhausted,
it's okay.
Dude. I'm exhausted. Jordan Romano, 2 saves. They started off their home opener down 4-0 after the top of the first. 7-0 after the top of the third, I think. Third or fourth. They came back and won 10-8. Unreal, man. This team is so good. That is going to be a very, very, very scary team. Today they had a game, Saturday, day of recording, they had a game against, again, the same Texas Rangers. Won 4-3.
4-3.
Started off 2-0 after the first. And then Texas in the fourth, I think, got like 3 runs. And then the Jays got scored 1 run in like 2 consecutive innings or 2 out of 3 innings. So they've shown in just 2 games that they can get it done in 2 different ways, which is nice. It'd be nice to be able to count on your starting pitching a little bit more than that. Obviously, it is literally just 2 games into the season.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. So
I did say, however, that our weakness is the pitching.
You did.
It's really tough to not have that as your weakness when you have like 4 world-class hitters. Like, there is Vladdy Guerrero, one of the best hitters in baseball, if not the best overall hitter in baseball. George Springer, unreal talent. Bo Bichette, like, kisses bat. My God, he's so good too. Oscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., unreal. Matt Chapman. I worked with the Mike Chapman. That's hilarious. No, Matt Chapman.
Does he know Matt Chapman?
I don't know. Maybe they're cousins or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, like, this is a good offensive team for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Closer Romano. Shoot, man, I can't even remember the guy's name, and he's a Canadian too. That's just embarrassing, dude. Anyways, the closer being Canadian, unreal. And then Guerrero, I'm gonna still call him an honorary Canadian. Just nuts how good this team is gonna be really in the future. They are the second favorite to win the World Series after the Dodgers. Hey, and again, the AL East is the deepest division in all of sports. You have 4 teams that are within the top 10 in World Series favorites. 4 of the 10 in one division. Isn't that insane? Oh, just ridiculous. The Jays are going to have a fantastic season. It's going to be amazing to watch. I hope that they can finish this out against Texas tomorrow. Sunday, obviously, it will be released. The episode will be released on Monday night or Tuesday afternoon. Sorry. So this will be a little behind, I guess. So we'll be. I'm going to be interested to see what happens this weekend, the rest of the weekend. And this team can definitely 100-win team. I definitely think that they're going to be 110 wins. How sick would that be? 110 to 52. Like, I can see them 2-1 in winning. That's pretty. It's realistic. I think
that's plausible. Yeah. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So. All right.
Going back to tennis. Yeah, the next one is the French Open.
French? Okay. Cool. Yeah, I thought so. I forget, dude. I'm also really tired, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah. But anywho, last but certainly not least, hockey.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think you and I had an idea for like a midweek episode about the Oilers. So let's just start off with this.
Okay.
So, the Edmonton Oilers, the first part of the season, I believe, like until November something.
No,
December 1st. Yeah. Sure. Let's go around that time.
December, yeah.
And like the dates aren't exact, but from the start of the season to like December something, late November, early December, they were the best team in the NHL.
Yeah.
Now, from that point to, I believe,
the coaching change, basically.
Late February. Yeah, the coaching
February
change.
10th.
Mid to late. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, mid-February.
Mid-February.
They were the worst team in the NHL. Like, I'm not saying like,
even
oh,
worse
they
than
suck.
Arizona.
They're the worst. Like, no, like genuinely, they had the worst record of the
Yeah.
entire NHL.
Yeah.
Since this coaching change, they're back to being the best team in the NHL. Like, this is the most bipolar team I've seen, like, ever. I've never seen that. The best, then the absolute worst, and then the legitimate best again. They're getting goaltending finally. I mean, no, nobody can argue that. Mike Smith is giving us a .930 save percentage. Mikko Koskinen's around .920 right now. Like, it's happening. They're getting it. They might be not the most convincing of games and consistent, but like we're getting at least at the bare minimum average goaltending most nights.
Yeah, but they are giving up like more than like 3 goals most of the time though, and our offense is helping us.
So our goals against is 2. We're averaging a goal like during this last stretch in the Woodcroft era. It's pretty much 2 goals against a game, apart from the Calgary debacle.
And another one. I don't.
And there was another game or two. I mean, yeah, they've let about 1 bad goal in every 2 games, or 3 maybe. Yeah, Mike Smith's
Like,
doing
we're
much
getting
better.
goaltending now,
Yeah.
yeah. But it would have been nice before. But,
Okay, but like
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, this team could be competing with if we had goaltending we're getting now the whole season, we would be competing with
definitely,
Colorado for the top
Yeah.
record in not only just the Western Conference but the
It
entire
would have been
NHL.
amazing if we got the President's Trophy, because that would have been like unheard of with our goaltending that we have.
with our duo. I guess this just proves to show if we get average goaltending from our two goaltenders
And then just everyone playing.
and everyone keeps on playing the way they're supposed to, this team is that can compete. Likely Edmonton, LA first round. I like Edmonton's chances in there. I still think LA's a heck of a team. I think LA will pose a big threat, especially the last few games we played against LA. They were without Doughty.
Yeah,
It was a monstrosity of a piece for them. Without their top four defensemen, they were out. So, I think LA will pose a very big threat. Edmonton they haven't cemented their spot in second into the Pacific, but it is very, very close now. Like, it's very close to being cemented. I think like the magic number is 13 points, and they clinch a playoff spot.
That's comparing them with Vegas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But basically you have to be third because you're probably not going to make the
you're not making it.
wild card.
The Pacific is not going to make it into the wild card, I don't think. No.
So you have to like be top 3 in the Pacific in order to make it.
So
roughly like 13 points. Yeah.
So last episode we were talking about like the East, how it hasn't changed much at all. I actually went back and I looked at the schedules. I forget what website I used, but there is a website that I saw, like, I went through each day of the year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. January 4th, Eastern Conference has been set. Even
That
further
early?
back, December 1st, Boston was technically like 5th or 6th in the wild card standings, but it's because they played 7 or 8 games less than the other teams. So Boston, it just had to go 500 and they would have been in the playoff picture. So like just since December 1st, Eastern Conference playoffs has been essentially set. Isn't that ridiculous?
That's crazy.
That's insane how there's no playoff race there. It's just about seeding now.
Basically.
Yeah. That's just ridiculous. I think we were mostly right with how the Eastern Conference would look, right? Like, we called Boston, Tampa, Toronto, Florida. Probably not the order, right? But we called that.
Yeah.
And we did call Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina.
And New York.
I don't think I called New York. I think I said New York was going to be out, so I think I was wrong on that one. Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Who was your other team?
I want to say I put Columbus in there. Did I?
I think it was like Columbus or
No,
Philly.
Islanders.
Or Islanders, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. I think I said, like, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to look at our previous episode at one point just to see what we think. Yeah, like we'll see how well we did with our predictions, and like the awards predictions too. We'll look at how we did there, because I think I was right with the awards. I mean, I think most likely like the Canadian that's most likely to win the Rocket Richard. I said something along the lines of, didn't I say Huberdeau? No.
Doing the Rocket Richard?
Yeah, the Canadian that's closest to the Rocket. Oh, I said McDavid. I think it was Boarding. Anyways, we'll recap those. We'll revisit those episodes and like give you guys a recap, I guess, on what we ended up saying. And
I'm just looking at the just the standings. Just a quick glance. Edmonton is 7 points above Vegas, and I think like I read that we just have to go 500 in order to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
and,
no, I read that.
Yeah.
Vegas has to win out the entirety of their schedule, and we have to. And then we'd have to go 500, and even then, I think it's still realistic that we make it.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on wood, obviously, right? But because I mean, if we had the same collapse that we did mid-season, it's a possibility still. Really, we couldn't beat a freaking Pee-wee team. My God, dude, that was just brutal. Which Canadian team do you think has the best chance of going further? I'm going to tell you right now. I think it's going to be Edmonton.
Edmonton?
Yeah, Homer, obviously.
Well,
but it's because
like,
Calgary and Toronto can't make it out of the first round of the playoffs. That's it. That is, no, I genuinely, I swear to God, that is my only reasoning.
And then just looking at the like the potential matchups. Like if it started right now, Calgary would have to face Nashville. So that'd be playing against Saros, or like how he's playing right now. Be very, very tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then us, we just have to face the Kings, which during the season we've been playing really well against. Well, I guess not really well, but well against them. So
We were also playing well against the Jets last year before the playoffs started.
that's true. But for counting the season, like I said in the NBA section, anything can happen. But I can see,
Yeah.
like from looking at it right now, yeah, I can definitely see Edmonton going a little bit further.
Yeah, I honestly think, like, genuinely, one of Edmonton or Calgary is going to be in the final this year.
Yeah, because the East is just tough.
No, well, like, I think that they're going to, like, I think Colorado, Minnesota are going to play an unbelievably tough 7-game series, and Edmonton and or Calgary, whoever makes it past through the Pacific, will be a finals team. I mean, they can. I'd rather Edmonton than Calgary, obviously.
But
I think Calgary is the team that's best built for the playoffs in regards to, like, physicality. But I think there's more talent on the Oilers roster. So I guess it just depends on if the talent decides to show up.
Yep.
And if the goaltending decides to, show up too.
Average goaltending.
Seriously, if we get average goaltending, we're there.
Oh,
if we get Mike Smith from last year during the playoffs, this
We're
team's
there.
winning the cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kulak was quite possibly the best addition of the entire deadline. Him or Giroux. Giroux was an unreal addition for Florida.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about the Oilers. Like we never got Giroux.
No, yeah, but I'm
But
saying
yeah,
like
no.
of the entire trade deadline,
Yeah.
the biggest additions. Yeah, Giroux was massive for Florida. Kulak was huge for
Huge
the
for
Oilers.
Edmonton,
Do you see
yeah.
his like Corsi numbers and his like expected goals for? Like he is elite right now. How he's playing, second pairing for us. Like that's exactly what I said. We needed a second pairing lefty, and that's exactly what he's giving us. He's playing with Barry, with freaking Tyson Barry, one of the worst one of the worst defensemen, in regards to his own
Defending,
defensive
yeah.
game, in the league. This is nothing against Barry. I mean, I think he even knows that he's not that good. That's not his strength. And then Papa Bush is playing unreal. I mean, I guess we'd be remiss to not talk about Matthews breaking Leafs scoring record, too. He's an American, but on a Canadian team.
Yeah.
55 goals so far. I think the record was 54. So, I mean, good for him for breaking it.
And he's at 58 right now. So
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. So, that's unreal, man. He's been on a tear. The Rocket Richard is his. I mean, there's no question about it anymore. It's his. He's the best goal scorer in the league right now. No doubt at all. Now, Hart considerations, though. I still think there's like 4 guys. This is the closest the Hart race has been in a very long time. I think Igor Shesterkin should be getting consideration.
Even though he did kind of slow down, but I would say, yeah, for his team, how valuable he is. Oh, definitely.
The guy's the most valuable
Yeah.
player to his team, no question. Jonathan Huberdeau, I believe, deserves some recognition.
If it's not either McDavid or Draisaitl, I would say Huberdeau for sure.
Roman Yossi deserves consideration.
Too. Yep.
Consideration. He's approaching 100 points for a defenseman. Isn't that ridiculous?
That hasn't happened in like a long time.
Since Coffee, I don't think. Yeah, a very long time. Yeah. Unreal. This might be the tightest Hart race we've seen in a very long time. I mean, we'll see how McDavid does against Colorado today, and like that other. But I can see it not being McDavid this year. I can see the Ted Lindsay Award and the Hart going to 2 different players. I think that Ted Lindsay is going to stick with McDavid, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I think the league recognizes that he's the best player. The media might not, but because media doesn't know really much anyway.
No, not really.
Yeah, it's just nuts, man. It's nuts. This is a great season overall. Also, one of my favorite moments of the season happened recently where Barry Trotz threw sticks at the officials because they suck so much.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he just got so pissed off. He grabbed a stick from his bench and just threw it on the ice towards the official because apparently they were making stupid calls.
I have to watch that. That
yeah, you
sounds
definitely
amazing.
have to watch that. Yeah. Like, so I was listening to the Gregor show on TSN 12:6, and he's defending the officials, and he's like, it's asinine that you expect them to be perfect and all that stuff. I'm like, so that's where he's wrong, though. Like, I don't think anybody expects the officials to be perfect. Like, we know they're going to make mistakes. We just anticipate them actually, like, calling the rule book. You know what I mean? Like, any
or
profession...
at least call something that you see right in front of your face.
Every profession has performance reviews. Everybody in every job has a performance review and performance management. And if you're garbage at your job, you get fired. Mm-hmm. You know? That doesn't happen in the NHL, man. The officials are just consistently garbage. There's some really good officials out there, and you know what? Yeah, 100%. They ref good games, and sometimes they have their good and their bad days, but like there needs to be more of a way of holding officials accountable in the NHL because this is now becoming absurd. This rule book, like, what's the point of having a rule book if you're not going to call it half the time? 1, 2. George freaking Perez, one of the all-time penalty minute leaders, is in charge of your player discipline. Like, come on. Seriously, that's just the stupidest thing I've seen in a very long time. Unacceptable. Like, this league is a joke. A complete joke.
I'm just pissed that they don't call anything right in front of their face. That's basically it.
Like, seriously, it's
as long
literally
as you call
happening in front of you.
As long as you call it that stuff that's happening right in front of you, I'll be happy. I'll be not happy, but it'll be fine.
Yeah,
but
or at least be consistent on the both teams. You know what I mean? Like, that's another one, man. It's just be consistent. Not even consistently garbage. I'd rather not, because like the player's safety goes out the window at that point. You know, like Edmonton had a couple of calls where they should have been penalized for. Like the Kane knee on knee could have easily been a game misconduct that game. Like there was no need for that. Dursey, I hate Dursey because he's a freaking king and he's an idiot. But like he could have been seriously injured. Kane shouldn't have done that. That should have been a game misconduct at least, in my opinion. 5 in a game for sure. I'm glad it didn't happen, I guess. But like, if that were to have happened to McDavid, I would have been infuriated. That can't be going on, man. 2 minutes for kneeing. That's such a targeted attempt. Like, I'm just so tired of this garbage officiating, man. And like the boarding, 2 missed boarding calls on poor Yamo too. It was like completely just 2 hands on the number from behind, everything. Like just awful. But anyways, anything else that you want to talk about with regards to the NHL?
No, you did touch on Matthews, and I wanted to talk about Matthews, so we already talked about that. No, not really. I think we talked on all that we wanted to talk about in the NHL this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little shorter of an episode this week. A lot of stuff. I think like it's good that like the shorter episodes are happening because now that we have a lot more to talk about, you know, too long of episodes get a little too much, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, good. It'll be a shorter episode this week. And since we have nothing else to add, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for listening to episode number 25 of the Canas podcast. Tune in. We're going to middle of this week. I mean, I don't know why it didn't upload, but All About Footy 6 will be released at some point this week. I have no idea why it didn't upload. But thank you, everybody, for listening to episode number 25 of the Canas podcast. And we'll see you later on this week for All About Footy episode 6.